Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations to the whole elect. Noah's in the gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit titled Beware of Social Media Influences, Pick Me Thirst Traps. Okay? And the Spirit hopped on me to do this lesson because I was scrolling this morning and I saw this video or this profile of this lady by the name of Keonce, which, I was scrolling through it. Well, this popped up on my feed because sometimes based on what you like or what you look at, the algorithm will recommend certain posts, and this popped up on my feed and I read it. And, she was talking good game, but when I checked out her profile, I'm like, she's full of shit. Because for one thing, you got pick-me's out there, which women that go into being a pick-me is women that's submissive, subservient, believe in putting the man first. Basically the biblical mindset of a woman is considered a pick-me. And that mindset is totally hated by the average feminist and the average woman in America because they feel that men need to be discentered, okay? But when I started looking at her profile, I basically called her bluff, and I'm like, this bitch is really full of shit. And you have a lot of these content creators that do this, okay? Reality, they don't really believe in submitting to a man, but see, if they can get these simple-ass jakes and these simple-ass men in general, because it's mainly Jake that have the problem with they women. I mean, you don't really see Edomites too much going on podcasts talking about how unsubmissive they women are. It's really blacks and Hispanics, mainly Jakes, which shows you how fucked up our women really is. But anyway, they put this type of thing out there because they get an emotional rush, or they get what do you call it? They get a dopamine rush from you simps out there believing this nonsense that she's spewing, because if she was really a pygmy and she was really about submitting to a man, she would totally have a different attire. Okay, and I'm noticing this with a lot of these content creators, which, there may be a couple of legit ones, like what's her name, Surveyor Brooks, which I think she's Northern Kingdom, but I believe she's somewhere in Europe. I don't know if it's Spain or something, but she got a Jake man, and she appears to be a white woman, but she gives me more of an Ephraimite vibe or a Northern Kingdom vibe. And she goes on there and she cuts up on Keisha. And then it's another chick too. I forgot her name, but she's a dark-skinned young lady. And she goes on there and she tells it like it is. And I believe she's pretty legit. But all the other women, I don't really believe in that content, because for the simple fact, it's all for views and likes and clout. Okay, and you have to understand that podcasting today is it's a big business, man. Podcasting. Okay, that's like the new casting couch for Hollywood is podcasting. This is why you got a lot of Israelites that's in that podcast spirit, because it generates revenue, it gets views, and you get clout. It's really clout chasing. So when you pay attention to her post, I mean, she's speaking on point. But when you look at this woman, I'm getting ready to show you this chick. She ain't nothing but a fucking overly glorified hoe. All right, that's looking for attention. And she know that you busters out there will hop tooth and nail to comment on these posts because this is something you want to hear, and you men are that goddamn you men are just weak-minded, man. Okay, you can't see when a motherfucker's really running game on your ass, man. All right, but it says when your man in grind mode, either be patient with him or get it in with him. Okay, that sounds good. It makes sense. Men hear that, oh yeah, she down, But Pete, this, it says bitches be so concerned about if a man has money, or if a man has money. Bitch, do you? Or BIT says, do you? Now, peep this. It says, when a man stops talking mid-conversation, trust me, it's not because he's mad. It's him realizing that such and such don't listen anyway. Now, another post, it says, men nowadays are choosing to be single because ain't no man alive trying to deal with the masculine, disrespectful, lazy woman. It says, y'all talk crazy, but can't cook and clean, argue, and do the bare minimum, but expect the man to pay all the bills, and baby you FOH, which means fuck out of here. All right? Another post, it says, it hit different when a man don't give a fuck no more. See women gonna always run back to whoever they can use. And she's really, exposing you chicks, man, because she knows, because she's one of them. But it says, but men, after they're over you, they are over you. The best part about it, it is always find a bitch that's better than the last one. Okay, so now when you look at the comments, peep this. And peep this. Hey, she even called it out. She says, at first when I was like, what the fuck? Then I went to her page and saw she purposely bashed women because she know men are gonna go for it, boosting her Facebook check. See, she called it out. See, women know each other. Women, they can see, they can smell each other's bullshit because they run the same game on each other. Okay, Shay Renee, she already know what it is. And it's not the fact that she's bashing women. She's actually telling the truth about most modern women, but she's not sincere about it. And that's what these stupid ass Jakes don't understand. Okay, Jake think, oh man, I got a very bitch, she look good. And I'm gonna show you exactly how I know she's full of shit. But it says that Facebook check, and that's how you play the game. I ain't even mad at you, sister. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm slick about to steal this idea. See? And look at this. Just our women are horrible, man. This is ridiculous. And look at these simple ass guys on here. And it's not one. I mean, I'm not even gonna read the men comments, but if you look at the men and just look at what the men are saying, these men are that stupid to not even realize that she's running game on them, man. She's saying what's true, but overall, she doesn't believe this shit. Now, peep this to show you that she's full of shit. She may be an OnlyFans model, I don't know. But clearly she's a harlot. But peep this. If she was really about that life, and she was really about being about the man and bashing or putting the women in subjecting and helping our sisters out, peep this. It's all for clout. Okay, this woman is a somewhat glorified harlot, man. She just a whore. That's all it's about, man. And she put this up as fucking thirst trap, man. So what she's saying in those posts, if she really believed that, she wouldn't be presenting herself like that, because I saw another page of hers and it said she was single. So if she really had that mindset of being subservient to a man, she would have a husband already. Any man would have jumped on a bandwagon to have a, I mean, honestly speaking, I mean, it looked gross. I mean, clearly you could tell she has a kid because the stretch marks, all right? Now, it looks good, I mean, as far as in the clothes, but outside of that, I mean, you can tell that she's disproportionate. You can tell that her body is, you know, she probably had some work done, or she's lost some weight, or whatever it may have been. But just what it's all about, you see? And the average man, if she was actually in the right spirit and she was covered up, the average man would have took her and like, yeah, I'll fuck with her, you know, because for one thing, Jake love a body like this, but I mean, at the same time, it's just like, ugh, you know, it's like you showing it for everybody to see. That's how we know that you're insincere. Okay, now when you look at this, it goes into professional dashboard. Good men deserve back rubs, head, steak. Now peep this. It's all about views. I'll show you that whole podcast industry is all bullshit, man. And the bitch's name is Keisha. But yeah, it's all about clout, man. She don't give a damn about you, Jakes, man. She don't care. She thinks she would be submissive to a man and she's getting all this money. Hell nah. And look at these simps out here. How many lives have you saved? I'm just saying. And notice she don't even reply. You're very beautiful and very fire. No reply. Beautiful. Are ready to be rinsed and prepared. Look at this, man. This is the reason. It's always Jake, man. That's the reason why these women are out of order, because you Jakes are just weak, man. You don't, golly, it's disgusting to behold. But peep this. Matter of fact, it says, I just reached 170K followers. Thank you for continuing to support. I can never have made it without each of you. So it's all about clout, man. She don't give a, hey, the chick called out. And peep this. This is her again. Same chick. I believe this is the same chick. Yeah, this is the same chick. But look at her. She's completely out of order. You know, she's a whore. She's showing her body off. She got weave. She's fake as hell. And peep this. Look at these. Go here. Single. Single. That's the thing. So if she was just so righteous and so in the spirit that you Jakes were just so salivating over, then why the hell is she? Why is she still single? Okay. This is the book of Proverbs 31, and I'm gonna start at verses 31, and I'm gonna start at verses. I mean, this goes into the virtuous woman, and this really, I mean, the whole chapter is good. But let's go here. Let's start at verses 23. It says, her husband is known in the gates. You think a woman like that will reverence her husband? Fuck no. And you can see the stretch marks on her stomach, so you can tell she probably have kids, probably a couple of them. And they're probably by different men, which is common in the Jake community. Okay, but it says her husband is known in the gates, and when he's sitting among the elders in the land, she maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivered girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she should rejoice in the time to come. And she opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Yeah, but in her case, what she's saying made sense, but it wasn't sincere. Okay, it didn't have any weight because it wasn't coming from a sincere spirit. And this is why, you know, these thirst traps out here, a lot of these women do that. Okay, and this is another one that do it too. I don't care what nobody say. This woman right here is completely out of order. Okay, what's her name? Danica Marie, Dope Discussions. She's doing it all for the money, because if you pay attention to her too, one hand she's saying, yeah, be submissive, but at the same time she's saying be sexy, and you know, you can show off your shape if you got some sense with it. Nah, bro. She's completely out of order. Okay, another one too is with that Pop the Balloon, Arlette. Arlette is a closet feminist. Okay, I believe her husband is the producer or the owner of the show. Pop the Balloon, when a lot of men go on there and make themselves look stupid and underlings to these women and getting embarrassed and humiliated. And these women go on there for clout. And you got Arlette, which is basically, she's a feminist. She don't like men, because when the men are basically jammed down on the women, look at the face that Arlette makes. Versus when a woman, she gets the upper hand on a man and belittles him, then she has that little stupid ass smirk. Okay, you could just look, the scripture say you can tell a man by his countenance. Like, you can look at him and know they ain't right. And this is another one. I don't give a damn what nobody say. She ain't right either, man. Okay, this woman here, she's completely out of order. She talks a good game, but look at her. She's completely out of order, man. Completely out of order. And in fact, you're not even supposed to be showing your face you're not even supposed to be showing your face on a public podcast like this. That's out of order. But anyway, it says, she looketh well to the ways of her house, and eateth not the bread of idleness, meaning that she's always preoccupied with something, whether it's cooking, cleaning, sewing, you know what I'm saying, getting money for the house, whatever it may be. She's always occupied with something. Okay, she's not sitting back on her ass watching Ricky Lake in reality TV. Okay, that ain't what a virtuous woman do. She's always doing something productive. All right, and it says, our children are all raised up, and call her blessed, and her husband also, and he praiseth her. But it says, many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. And this is the point I want to make. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that fear Yahweh, she should be praised. So that chick I was telling you about earlier, man, Keisha, Keonce, just the name Keonce alone lets you know that the woman is not in the right spirit. Okay, she's a thirst trap, man. And this is why you Jakes that got this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man, you got the blueprint on how to operate. All right, because the average 2/3, he would be taken by her attempts, man. Okay, because for the simple fact, she's just a thirst trap. It's all about money. Okay. So Ecclesiastes 7:25, it says, I apply my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. So once you are exposed to these particular ordeals, and you know, you do the research and the spirit is dealing with you, you're able to discern. Now, some men, some men, like shit, every brother that dealt with a harlot or two that wasn't worth shit, may have kids, but she's probably one of the ones, kind of humble, and she just want to lay up with you and rub on you and watch TV all day and fuck on you, whatever. I mean, you're going to have those. You're going to have those toss-aways too. You know, and some of those actually, how about Shemal Shai may save some of them because of the humility that they have. You know, but overall, it ain't really wifey material. It's just something you know do to pass time. You know, and shit, hey, brothers dealing like that, hey, ain't no shame in your game. Just be wise while doing it. You know, always have enough room to cut it off if you have to walk away, and don't get too attached, because you would get fucked up in a situation like that. Okay, but it says here, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands, and whosoever pleaseth the Most High should escape from her, but the sinner should be taken by her. Yeah, so this is why a lot of guys are wrapped up in alimony, child support. You know, they're wrapped up in these systems of oppression, to say the least. And it says, but behold, I have found, and said the preacher, counting one by one to find the account which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. But one man among 1,000 I have found, but a woman among all those I have found not. Okay, so meaning none of them are really right. You know, let's go here. I think it's Proverbs 6, the parable here. Maybe Proverbs 7. The wiles of a harlot. Yep, bingo. Even though this is going into doctrine, but you can still, you know, apply it to the modern woman, because when you look at her, you're like, okay, you know, the body is symmetrically decent, you know, even though you can tell she was probably obese at a point in time and she has some cosmetic issues, you know, she probably got cellulite and all those things, but from the tights, it's like, okay, she got something to work with. Okay, cool, whatever. Because one thing about Jake like hips and ass, man. You know, me personally, I mean, I don't discriminate as long as the chick is not big and obese. You know, she can be a little thick, she can be curvy, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I mainly, brothers know my type, you know, the little petite, skinny Jones and shit. Brothers know, but, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, shit, I have I have a variety of type of women that I actually like. She ain't got to always be skinny and petite, you know, with the nice curves and the AB cups. I mean, that's nice, but, you know, you don't always get that. But regardless, she can't be big or fat or obese, and she can't be a fucking toothpick. So Jake like it right in the middle, you know. But hey, whatever how about Shemal Shai throws, you know, it is what it is. But it says here's the book of Proverbs 7, and I'm gonna start at verses 7, and it says here, and behold, among the simple ones I discern among the youths a young man void of understanding. Now these men, they're void of understanding. Okay, because I mean, they look at these situations and they're like, oh damn, she's speaking what the virtuous woman speak, and look at her, oh damn, but if she was so virtuous, why is she showing her body the way she's showing? Okay, why is she not leaving up for the imagination, and why is she not married? You know, and that's the thing you have to consider. Okay, why isn't she married? If she's speaking a game like that, somebody would have been wiped her up already, especially if she knows better. And the fact that she knows better makes it that much more offensive, and you men should be calling that out. But it says here, passing through the street near her corner. Matter of fact, let's start at verses. Let's start at verses 8. And it says, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house. And in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night, and behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. Okay, subtle. When you go into subtle, let's look up the word subtle real quick. Subtle, subtlety, which goes into the Hebrew word nasar, which means to watch, to guard, to preserve, to keep secret, to be blockaded, a watchman. Okay, so she was watching. But it says subtle of heart, and she is loud and stubborn, and our feet are bowed not in her house. But now is she without, now in the streets, and lie in wait in every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me, this day I've paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. And I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, and carved works in fine linen of Egypt. And I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. So basically, this bitch was enticing. She smelled good, even though this is going into doctrine. Okay, because when you get a hold of the doctrine, whether it be the wrong doctrine, it's like, man, you in love with it. You know, it entices you, because the scriptures refer to women as wisdom as a woman. Okay, because it's something you get intimate with. And we're known to get intimate with our women. But it says here, I perfume my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. But come and let us take our fill of love until the morning, and let us solace ourselves with loves. But it says, for the good man is not at home, but he is gone long in journey, and you've taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the appointed day. But with her much fair speeches, she caused him to yield, and with flattering of her lips, she forced him. Okay, so that's the point. It sounds good, but it's full of, like they said, the dead are there. And it's the same thing with these modern day women, especially these podcast gurus. So be careful with that podcast spirit, man, because like I said, you got a lot of Israelites that's flirting with that podcast nonsense, and it ain't gonna do nothing but end them up in a world of destruction. Okay, last precept. This is the book of Sirach 25, and I'm gonna start at verses 19. It says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, but let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Yeah, these women will really take the truth and capitalize on it, man, just to get men in their emotions and just to extort money from men, which is wickedness. It says here, but stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. Okay, so at the end of the day, man, all things that look good ain't good. But I'm going to end it giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify. Until the next lesson. Shalom.